The opinions expressed on this program are solely those of its hosts, guests, or callers, and do not necessarily represent the opinions of WTBR-FM, its management, other producers, or sponsors.
Well, the good Wallace didn't get herself ejected in the state final for some dumb stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't want to say I dreaded showing up to this football game on Friday night, but
yeah, we'll see what happens. Like, if you want to talk, you have to talk into the microphone. There we go. Mic to mic. I'm lost.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to WTBR-FM. It is Bird's Eye View. Jesse here. We've got Mike Walsh.
Hello.
And this is glorious. This is my glorious return to the studio. Thank you to Mike for
was your
holding down
Yom
the fort.
Kippur?
Yeah, Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur was good. I drove to New Hampshire and surprised my mom, my aunt, my grandfather, which was very, very nice. Made them cry, but it was a good cry.
No, that's nice.
So yes, and did some Zoom services fast. I was the only one in the house who fasted, and then my aunt low-key guilt tripped me. Not didn't guilt trip me, but called me out because I usually just do 24 hours. I start fast at the 7 and then I end at 7. And then she's like, it's that, well, so are you doing the 25? I'm like, huh? So she's like, well, it's supposed to be a day and an hour. It's like,
oh, I didn't know that.
Why are you telling me this religion stuff?
Oh, boy.
So then I did do a day and an hour.
This is your aunt who wasn't doing any of the hours.
Not really.
Okay.
Not really.
Quality aunt. I love it.
To be fair, she was the best one at doing the services. So it's not like she was completely off
Lax,
it. But no. So then we stopped. It was also there's the temple that they are a part of. It started at 6, and it's like the one I would have gone to here starts at 7:30. It's like, all right, I gotta stop eating so much earlier. Terrible. But yeah, so I stopped eating at 6, and then although the good news is since we were doing Zoom services, I could snack right up until we started.
Okay.
But then did 6 to 7. So I did the thing, did good. Brought a bunch of books to read. So read The Children of Hurin. I don't know if you're a Tolkien guy.
I enjoyed the movies.
Mike,
my wife has read all of that. I'm not a fantasy story guy.
I was gonna say, as Mike teaches his kids to read, he's learning to read too.
I read a fair amount.
Did you just take a fiction writing course?
I did. I read all I read is fiction, pretty much. I just thought fantasy is not. I told myself this year because we have. I think my dad wound up reading Fourth Wing or something. It's called. I was like, I'll try it, and I never got around to it. I'm currently reading Hound of the Baskervilles, which is a Sherlock Holmes story. Yeah. I thought that was spooky thing to read. Start of October. I picked that up down at the. There's this cool little, old looking bookstore in Great Barrington. It's yellow. I think it's just a yellow bookstore or yellow door or something.
Yeah, I know
like
what you're talking about. Yeah, it's right next to that old clothing store.
Yes, I think there's a consignment shop.
I've been there a couple of times. I feel like I bought something from there, but I can't remember. Yeah, no, it's cool.
Not a bad spot. I don't know. I read a lot of Stephen King, but even that I haven't gotten into. And Mark, Mark and I are big Stephen King people. But he's a monster. I shouldn't say monster because I enjoy the monster ones. But he's a big Dark Tower series guy, and I can't. I've tried to read The Gunslinger 4 times.
When the things are 1,200 pages, this is a relationship, man. This is a commitment.
Yeah, I did break into. I read The Stand during 2020 during COVID because I was like, all right, well, if you're ever going to read The Stand, read it now so you're prepared. And I enjoyed that, but yeah, The Gunslinger is actually not a long book. It's I don't know. I can't latch onto it, and then knowing what's to come. It's if you were to I never saw Lost. I'm going to dive into Lost now, and knowing that there's 200 episodes or whatever of a show. That's kind of how I feel about trying to get into the Dark Tower, but I will eventually.
I've been grinding through X-Files because it's on Hulu, okay. And so I'm mid-ish way through season 2, and I am so there's 12 seasons or something like that. There's 15 seasons, and it's all 25 episodes each. I'm like, all right, well,
those are the days.
Can I just stop after season 5? Like, any X-Files fans out there who can just tell me? I'm like, all right,
Seen a handful of episodes. There's one where they're like trapped in a. It's kind of like The Thing.
I've seen that episode. That's season 1 episode.
Awesome episode of the X-Files, I will say. I believe Henry's wandering over to you. So. Oh, maybe not. He froze.
All right. Well, you just talked about The Thing, so he got. It's cold. It's freezing.
this is
I
true.
would recommend.
It was cold in that movie.
We'll get to this board. I would recommend if you are looking at Tolkien, I would start with The Hobbit. I think it's a very, very good one-off. Oh, what's up, buddy? He just came around the corner.
He is around this way.
He's peeking at me. What's up, bud? All right. Well, we'll see if he gums on any buttons here at WTBR. In any case, football. No basketball. Well, we did have some basketball news coming out last night. Some breaking basketball news. Hoosick Valley has a new boys basketball varsity head coach. Bill Robinson retired for the second time, actually, but longtime coach Bill Robinson, he retired. And Matt Larrabee, who has been the JV coach since 2012, is the son of former Hoosick coach Mike Larrabee. Is the new head coach. So Matt Larrabee takes over the program. He's been with Hoosick basketball since 2006. And he played for Bill Robinson when he went to Hoosick, went to Westfield State, and so now he is back coaching his alma mater. Talked to him last night. He said he's been waiting for this his whole life. He said it was the dream for him and for what his dad had for him. So very, very cool moment. And yeah, it'll be interesting because they're entering the Berkshire League, and after some years of that not being the case, now it's a redux of the old Berkshire North. So Hoosick, Drury, Pittsfield, Taconic, Monument, and Wacona all together again. They all play 2 games against one another. And of course, if you're a Hoosick fan, if you're a Drury fan, you get 2 games against. You get the home and home, as opposed to this year where it had just been one team hosts and that's that. This year we got very, very lucky because they ended up being matched in the state tournament. But yeah, Drury and Hoosick will get 2 games against one another, which will be really, really, really fun. I know Larrabee was very excited about that. I know he said there's a lot of excitement about it from talking to the kids. He knows it's going to be a very tough league. So yeah, that'll be really, really fun. Come up basketball season, we'll obviously get more into that in a few months when that's closer. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see Hoosick with a new face manning the sideline. That'll be something to watch. Even though, I mean, he's been on the sideline, but he just wasn't the varsity coach.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine a great deal about what your image of Hoosick Valley basketball will change, given the continuity level of him. His dad was an assistant for Bill Robinson forever, coached the team for a little bit. It's probably a good thing though, given what Hoosick, like at the end of the basketball season when we're talking like looking ahead to next year, it's like, oh, like Hoosick has a chance to like run stuff here.
It could be good. And
so yeah, knowing that we kind of had inklings that Robinson might not be back over the course of. I mean, he came back. I don't think I don't think anybody really viewed it as a stopgap. But if you look at, he had been out for a little while and was like, oh yeah, sure, I'll come back. You guys are in need. And then ho hum leads the team to 2 Western Mass championships and a state championship game. There was always going to be somebody coming, I believe, for not coming for that job in a violent sense, but.
Yeah,
it was always going to, there was going to be a move on at some point.
Well, we'll move on.
Sure.
Move on the topic.
Hey now.
So let's see. Quick hitters, McCann Golf won a bi-county championship yesterday, clinched that. Henry, big McCann Golf fan. Wacona Golf. So I believe they split a Berkshire championship.
Both of them and Greylock should be 13-1. Yeah,
right.
Beat each other once, or
you
each
could
beat
argue
the other on their home course.
Greylock gets it because Wacona beat Greylock by 1 stroke and Greylock beat Wacona by like 14 strokes.
If you're going scoring differential,
but yeah,
Greylock also had the Berkshire Classic winner,
right?
Jacob Hillman. So yeah, there's if you want to go tiebreaker route, sure.
But yeah, no. So they both shared it. Pittsfield girls soccer broke its skid, beat Holyoke. Lee girls soccer got a nice 5-0 win. What else happened? Oh, Mount Everett got a nice win over Franklin Tech. McCann won, so that sets up a big matchup tomorrow between McCann and Mount Everett. Let's see, volleyball-wise, Taconic finally broke its skid. It did play Drury, which is obviously a brand new program, and so Taconic had been on a 4-game losing streak, and so now they are off that, and they will play Pittsfield tomorrow. That's at Taconic. Huge game, game 1. I believe it was actually PHS's first win of the season, and it was at PHS. Taconic won the first 2 sets, and then PHS won 3 straight. And so, I expect this to be a huge game. Taconic senior night. They need to kind of win out if they want to make the state tournament. So we will see what happens there. Sorry, did you?
No, that's just all yesterday. So there's been a kind of. I'm going back a couple of days. We had Greylock Pittsfield Girls Soccer Part 2, which was a scoreless draw. Or no, is that what it was? Yeah, when you covered it.
So when I covered it, it was a scoreless draw. The one that
this one's a big one.
Was insane. Yeah, I watched part of the game on PCTV, and there we go.
Shout out.
Shameless plug. Pittsfield scores to go up 2-1, and I quite literally 20 seconds later, Greylock scores, and then they're up, and then it's 2-2, and then they score again a minute and a half later, and it's 3-2 at half, and you're like, oh my god, PHS just gave away the game. And then, they score to tie it in the second half, and then Greylock scores 10 seconds later. And, it really was just how do you lose concentration like this? Because you had the chance to win, you had the chance to tie, and then they just blink. And Greylock would get by them and score. So, I mean, it's kind of weird that PHS plays Greylock that hard, and then Wacona, they don't seem to be able to contend with, so I'm kind of confused on that front.
Yeah, the top of the girls' soccer has been. I talked about it with Dylan here last week. Was we were looking back on Greylock's first matchup with Wacona, where Greylock we viewed those kind of after Wacona handled Pittsfield. They came in and Greylock was still undefeated. Greylock beats them 5-0, and you're just wondering like, okay, do I view Wacona in lesser of a light? Do I view Greylock in more of a light? And holy smokes,
he's a big Greylock soccer fan.
A week later, I don't know if we can make more calls on that. Greylock clearly, I think, seems to be the best team. It's just I don't know how much better they are than Wacona and Pittsfield. That's why. So this week, I just want to talk real quick. This week coming up, starting on Monday and going till the next Monday for Mount Greylock. If you look at their entire season and say, oh, they haven't really been tested, like the 2 Pittsfield games, sure. The Wacona game, they beat 5-0. They've mostly been cruising. This next week, they play Monday. Let's see. Monday, they're at Longmeadow. Wednesday is the return of the Wacona game. Wacona will be at Greylock Wednesday night at 6. And then the following Monday, so they have some space between these games, but the following Monday is Northampton. Per our colleagues over at Mass Live, Northampton, Longmeadow are both top 5 teams in their top 20. Wacona's like 15, something like that, 14. So this week coming up here for Greylock,
I believe Longmeadow was like 3rd in D2.
Okay,
in the state
power rankings wise, they're probably way up there. I think Longmeadow's like 9-1. That's the only one I checked real quick before this, but yeah, some huge gains for Greylock. You could view it as perfect timing for them. Like, okay, we need to ramp up this competition before we get to the tournament.
You ready for this?
Sure.
Longmeadow 9-1-2,
Yep.
number 4 in Division 2.
Okay.
You said they play Northampton.
Northampton's their finale next Monday. Yep.
Northampton is 6-3-2.
Yep.
Number 20 in D2. Who was there any other huge one?
The Wacona game.
Oh, Wacona game. Yeah.
Yep.
And I can look up what the PVIAC, the Western Mass.
Yeah, so pretty much, Greylock, two of their last 3 games here to wrap the regular season are against playoff teams in 2 divisions higher, because Greylock's D4 now, right? So 2 D2 playoff teams, state tournament teams, and Wacona, who is I believe, only loss is
to Greylock.
Is that still right? Yeah.
I believe so.
Some huge games coming up for Mount
Longmeadow
Greylock
number
girls.
1 in Class A and Northampton number 4 in Class A.
Okay.
And then that's just a huge game. Wacona is a Class B team. Greylock is top in Class C.
Yep. And Greylock beat Lennox 7-1 yesterday. So they're 11-0-1 now. So it's like, how real is the 11-0-1? We're going to find out these next 3 games here. And I mean, you could end up 11-3-1, and I'd still say, okay, you're a legit team if you.
As long as they don't lose
if these 3 games are competitive,
I'm not all that concerned. I agree. I think there's a very good chance they lose to Longmeadow and Northampton. But if they lose 2-0, I'm not all that worried because those are just, as we have mentioned, very, very good teams at a very big level. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to find out what's going on there. It'll also be interesting to see Greylock in states just because they're in Division 4 for the first time and they have to deal with a higher level of competition. But, yeah, let's take a little break, and when we come back, we'll talk a little football. So stay right here on WTBR and WSBR.
At Pittsfield Community Television, we have a saying: anyone can learn to create television. With the support of trained production staff, we can teach you how to professionally operate a camcorder, use editing software to tell a story, work as a team in a production studio, and take those skills into the community. If you've been curious as to how video production works, we'd love to have you as a member. Visit us online at pittsfieldtv.org or call us at 445-4234 for more information.
PCTV Select is a great way to watch local content without having a cable subscription. You can keep up with the latest of what's going on in your community from anywhere in the world, and it's available for free right now. Watch live events in full HD on your TV, on your computer, or on the go with your mobile device. Or watch our large library of on-demand video programs anytime that's convenient for you. No more waiting until it's on TV. Did we mention it's free? PCTV Select is everywhere you need to be.
Welcome back, folks. Here on 89.7 WTBR-FM, Pittsfield, 88.1 WSBR Lee, Bird's Eye View. Jesse and Mike back here in the booth. We have the Hammer and Hank over there in the corner. He is hammering away at some no-sound
stuff
foam.
off the wall. Not ideal.
You know what? I'm sure that's under warranty. In any case, hope you all enjoying. It's fall. Like, it's been mid-70s the last couple of days, and all of a sudden now it's like, oh, okay, it's kind of chilly when I wake up. And, now it's peaking at 62, not 77. In any case.
It's football weather finally. Yeah,
it is football weather.
We had to wait till mid-season, but we got football weather.
I've been enjoying the warmer fall.
Parts of it, yes. But sweating during, doing yard work and stuff in the fall is not cool. Well, all right. In any case, so it is the mid-season of the high school football season, which is kind of wild that it's been this quick. Hoosick Valley and Lee are the highlight. 4-0. Lee is the number 1 team in the MIAA Division 8 power rankings. Hoosick Valley is the number 2 team in those rankings, and they're going to play this weekend in Cheshire. I said that Hoosick-Wauconah was the game of the year, and that's true. But this is the game of the year in the sense that, this is for all the marbles. Mm-hmm.
They are both undefeated. They are 1-2 in the state. Obviously, before 4 years ago, that just couldn't happen because the state rankings like that didn't exist. But there has never been a time before when you could say that about two Berkshire teams that were going to play each other. Sure, you had, if you go back into the old days when the Berkshire County champion would play the Valley champion in those Western Mass Super Bowl. But once again, that's only Western Mass. This is the state. So that's really, really cool. Brings just
before
a lot
my
of excitement.
time, so I just consider it didn't happen.
You would have been alive.
I've been here 10 years now, so I feel like before that it's okay.
That's ancient history.
Ancient history.
That might as well be Sparta.
Sure. Yep.
In any case, a lot of excitement for that game. It's going to be a very, very interesting matchup because Hoosick Valley has a fantastic defensive front, whereas Lee has a fantastic run game. Lee has a really aggressive, really good secondary. Hoosick has a lot of weapons on the outside. It's just, there's just great matchups all over. Hoosick's line, you got Jacob Borowski, Jaquan Vasquez, Logan O'Connell, Noah Rehill. And then on the other hand, you have to stop Dawson Reburn, JD Reburn, Seamus Cooney for Lee. It's going to be a really fun matchup. Lee has JD Reburn, Dawson Reburn, Seamus Cooney, and Thomas Lucy, and Blake Hoff. And Willamette Myro, but they have to stop Aiden Wicks and Kamarian Castner and Quennell Bradley, and Ben Payton's a good quarterback. And so, yeah, it's just a very, very, very fun series of matchups. The last 4 years, they were in the Intra-County South. Hoosick won in 2021, won the league title. In 2022, Lee won the game, won the league title. 2023, Hoosick won the league title. 2024, Lee won the league title. Now they are in the Suburban North. And whoever wins is only going to have to worry about East Hampton for the league title. So that is just a very, very fun series of matchups. No one has won it back-to-back since before COVID. So this is a huge opportunity to win 2 games in a row in a series that has been very, very even. You know, that they have traded it year after year. And both teams look as good as they have in a while. And so... I'm just excited. This is very, very lucky. I wish this was in week 7. You know, it feels very early. Both teams still have to play Taconic before we can say that they're Berkshire County champions. But yeah, this is exciting.
Were they both undefeated entering? Hoosick had lost to Wacona, right?
Right.
Okay, so they weren't totally undefeated heading in. But if you can think back to last year's matchup, it was still like. It was kind of at this level.
It was 6-0 versus 5-1,
and it was at this level of. I mean, not maybe they weren't 1-2 in the state, but
that's the difference. To me, that's the difference from last year. It's not just the loss, but it's the fact that Lee was like 9 in the state and Hoosick was 15. It's like this is 1v2.
Yes, people outside of Berkshire County are going to be watching this game very intently. Or at least finding the result of this one very interesting. So that's kind of a new wrinkle to really, I think, probably Berkshire County football at large.
I think ever.
Yeah, I mean, Hoosick had that. They were top 4 seed or whatever 3 years ago, but I don't know that anyone they played in the Berkshires was of a consequential level statewide.
I mean, 2023, when they went to the Final Four, they were the 3 seed, and Belchertown was a playoff team. They beat Belchertown. Belchertown won 7-1 that year. And other than that, everyone else was kind of just solid, but I don't think they played any other or beat any other playoff teams. So yeah, wider wise, it's like And then the year when they went in 2021 to the Final Four, they were the number 1 overall seed. But once again, to your point, they would have beaten Lee, which also was a playoff team, and they would have beat East Hampton, which also was. So they beat a few playoff teams that year with Lee and East Hampton. I believe they beat Belchertown, who was also. But yeah, there wasn't that kind of wider, this is a top 5 matchup. So it brings, there's just a lot of intrigue, and I'm very excited about that.
So, and going back to last year's, it wound up being kind of it wasn't a super competitive game.
It was not a competitive game, no. But Lee rolled them.
Yeah, so.
It was 47-15.
Right. And so Hoosick was missing a couple guys, but it clearly signaled like a gap between the teams, I guess.
That was the game. That was the first game Griffin Mucci was back after getting hurt, and you could tell that A, he was on a serious snap count, and B, he was not he just didn't have his legs back under him.
And this was,
but Lee was also just so much better. This game they both come in looking pretty healthy. They both coming in looking good. They both have the same issues we've talked about all season. If somebody can stop the run, what will Lee's offense look like? For Hoosick, can you not beat yourself? Dumb penalties, mistakes, fumbles, that type of thing. I've said this the game against South Hadley.
I say this every week, yeah.
Well, the game against South Hadley, I wanted to be excited because they only had 3 penalties in the first half, and in the second half they did very poorly, so they finished with 9 penalties. But yeah, it's just, can they play composed? Going to be a big matchup. I think there's probably going to be a lot of energy on both sidelines. I'm hoping it's going to be a good crowd. The crowd for the Wacona Hoosick game was great. Hoping we get that again. I'm excited. I think there's a lot of potential in this matchup.
Cool. Yeah, it's a curious. So when we're saying we're starting to come to a conclusion that maybe Lee is better than they were last year.
That's kind of how I feel.
And so then it becomes, is Hoosick. We also believe Hoosick is better than they were last year.
So much better than they were last year.
So you put that "so" in there.
Yeah.
Are they more better than they were last year than Lee is better than they were last year? Would be ultimately could be what decides that.
Here's where I put this. I think Hoosick's potential is higher than Lee's.
ceiling-wise?
Their ceiling is higher, but their floor has been lower. And while I don't think Lee's ceiling is quite as high, their floor has been much higher than Huzik's. And so the question then becomes, what version of Huzik shows up? Is it the version where they play composed and their defense is dominant and their offense doesn't shoot itself in the foot, and so you have all these big playmakers who can go out and use the athleticism and make plays and they win this game? Or is it going to be the Huzik offense that plays down and puts itself in a hole where they fumble the ball a bunch of times, or they have a big run that's negated by a dumb holding call, and they jump off sides a bunch of times, and Lee gets free yardage? That's the question mark. And so we will have to find out, because Lee is, generally speaking, a team that will not beat itself. And so this is a huge test for both teams, because Lee also hasn't played a team anywhere near this good, and Huzik has not played a team anywhere near this good.
Yep, and we haven't seen either. I mean, we've seen, I guess, Huzik play a little bit from behind, but if Huzik hits a big play or two early on in the game, does Lee have the ability to score quickly enough to kind of catch back up? And then on the flip side of that, if Huzik doesn't hit those plays and Lee is just sucking down the time, sucking down the clock with their running backs, does Huzik have kind of the patience, I guess, to play that kind of game?
It's an interesting question, because, Huzik has been behind before in the Wacona game, so they kind of know what to expect. Whereas Lee, mentally, they just haven't experienced that since literally last year against West Boylston. So are they going to know how to react? And then, I have less concern about Huzik being behind, because they are better at hitting the big plays. They have more kids who can do that. But they have the capability to go on long drives, even though they struggled to do so. They didn't do it against South Hadley.
And I shouldn't.
But Lee, once again, if they're down 2 scores in the fourth quarter, not that I'm saying that'll happen, but if that were to happen, I don't know if they have a big play offense.
I shouldn't take away from the fact that Huzik can be patient. They weren't down in the Monument game, but they were scoreless for a while. They were only up 7-0 till the last second of the first half. So they did show, I guess, some patience there, and that they can kind of, okay, things aren't going well, we can change something up here, we can hold on, we can continue grinding down. So they have shown the ability to be patient. It's more a concern, I guess, of if you're behind and the other team isn't giving you the ball at all, which I think Lee probably has the horses / the line play to kind of control time of possession.
Yeah, they absolutely do. Only a couple minutes left here. Yeah, but just to quickly hit on the other football games. Also, that game's on Saturday at 1:00 in Cheshire. Saturday at 7 in Great Barrington, Monument Mountain will host McCann Tech. That'll be an interesting game. Monument on a 3-game losing streak, trying to break it. McCann 0-3, but they have not played in a couple weeks just because they've had byes. So we will see how both teams are able to recover. Dom Clutie did throw for 300 yards against Belchertown in a loss. Drops, big issue. James Green looks like he's emerging as the new number 1 target because Griffin Touponce is hurt. He had 200 receiving yards against Belchertown. So we will see how both teams look there.
Sorry,
Pittsfield, Pittsfield is playing on the road at Agawam on Friday. Wacona is hosting Chicopee Comp, and Taconic is hosting East Hampton. East Hampton is 4-0. Excuse me, Taconic is not hosting East Hampton. Taconic is hosting South Hadley. South Hadley is 2-2, just lost to Huzik. And so Taconic and South Hadley are actually the only 2 remaining members of the original Suburban North. So that'll be an interesting game. South Hadley reminds me of PHS just because they have some good players, but they're very thin for what they usually are. Wacona gets a new test against Chicopee Comp. Chicopee Comp is new in the league. Big school. Looks like they are enjoying not having to go up and take their lumps against Springfield Central and Longmeadow and Minnetonka every year. And then, Pittsfield at Agawam. New opponent, but they have scrimmaged a lot over the years, so they kind of know each other because of that. Be interesting to see. I think Agawam's struggling as well. See how PHS does with that one winnable game for the Generals. That's going to be just about it. So we'll thank you guys for tuning in. The Henry Meister over there has been very, very active. He's a big Berkshire County football fan. So thank you all. Have a good rest of your week. Good luck to your teams, and take it easy.